Okay, ve'avdil etchem. Doesn't matter. Ve'avdil etchem min ha'amim, right? V'liyot li, right? I'm going to separate you, right, from the nations, and I'm going to make you for me. If you're going to be separated from the nations, if you're going to separate yourself from the nations, then beauty, you're with me. If you do not,
happening now?
1 second, please.
Wait, don't jump the gun.
Stand shwaya, please. If you don't separate yourself, then you're going to be with Nebuchadnezzar and his buddies. That's the midrash. If you separate yourself from the nations, what does that mean? Separate culture.
What's culture?
Culture is the music, the dress, the talk. You understand?
Like in Germany.
In America, every bechol dor vador. Do me a favor. Everybody wants to be. You know, there's a story in the Gemara about they were walking. One Tana, boys, listen. There's one Tana that was walking in the shuk with Eliyahu Navi, and he tells him, "Who here's the Ben Olam Haba?" And he says, "Nobody." And then he sees one guy running with a 4-cornered garment, no seat, and wearing black shoes. And in that time, the black shoes was the Roman way. Okay, so you see that they were wearing that even then they wore like everybody does what the culture is. And what does he say? And he says, and he's the Ben Olam Haba. So how could he be a Ben Olam Haba? He goes to him and he says, "What do you do?" He goes, "I can't talk now. Talk to me tomorrow." And he's talking to the Gadol Ador. So he comes to him tomorrow. He finds him in the shuk and he tells him, "Who are you? What do you do?" He goes, "I'll tell you." He goes, I'm a Jew, but I'm very close with the Romans. So I'm with them. So whenever I hear about a gezerah, they tell me what they want to do to the Jews. I go run to the rabbis to go tell them, pray to annul the gezerah. And yesterday was one of those days. So I couldn't talk to you. That's why I wear the black shoes. I'm a Roman. 4-corner garment, nothing on. He's a Ben Olam Haba. Okay? So he says, if you're going to separate yourself from the Goyim, doesn't mean you can't be part of society. By the way, it's very important to separate the two concepts. Culture is bad. Society, you have an obligation to be a part of it. Meaning, all the Tanaim and the Amoraim all worked. Okay? You had Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi.
Besides
Shoemakers, besides Ashby. Right, Shulchan Aruch says it. Right? That's why because that's Masechet Berachot. It's different. 1 second. So they were shoemakers. And who were their customers? They had good customers. Who were their customers? The how do you say it in a nice way? The zonot of the town. Okay? They used to come in with their shoes that always would break. Whatever you want to call it. Rav Ami and Rav Asi and what would they do when they came in? They would look down and never look at them.
But still, they made them the shoes.
They made them the shoes. They made them the shoes. The papa was in beer. Okay? So listen. So now they were so impressed with them. They were so impressed with them that when they would swear,
Who was impressed with who?
the loose ladies.
They had their eyes down.
No, that these two rabbis were so strong to never look at them, not even glance at them once, right? That when they would curse, when they would swear, they'd swear in his name, in their name. I swear in the name of Rav Amin and Rav Asi. Okay, it's crazy. And when they died, when Rav Amin and Rav Asi died, these girls were all like, "Who's going to pray for us now? Who do we have to hold on to?" And they all felt bad. Swear like that type. So society is one thing. Culture is very different. Culture, look, even the music and the stuff that we all grew up with, the movies that we grew up with, the movies that we know by heart. I ain't gonna deny it. Okay, but you have to realize that is not who we are, and that's what we have to separate from. Yes.
If you ever want to test a movie for kashrut,
Don't bother.
no, just bring one of your kids to watch that Seinfeld episode. So cute.
Right.
And
By
they're
the way,
like,
you'll be
"Oh,
mortified.
yeah,
You're mortified.
forget about
You're
it.
mortified.
It's not that fun.
You're mortified. Each one of those things, you're mortified.
Not noticing.
So let's see. This is what Midrash says. If you're going to be muvdal min ha'amim Eli, then you're going to be with me. Great. If you're not going to be with me, then you're going to end up with Nebuchadnezzar and his friends. So the mekubalim, right? Listen to me, Mordechai. I'm sorry. Well, I meant to say Reuven, and I looked
Can I
at you.
just tell you
One more thing.
The black shoes. It's from one of the.
I have no idea who they are.
From one. No, not pointing at anything.
Oh, because there's black shoes. I don't know who they are.
You
They're outside. They're just sitting there for
You
years.
mentioned a guy wearing black shoes.
Yeah, the guy in the
So
shoe.
they
Probably go look this.
they stopped the patrol, whatever, of the town, stopped this rabbi, it's a Gemara story, the Gemara, who was wearing black shoes. They said, why are you wearing black shoes? He said, I'm warning Yerushalayim, destruction of Yerushalayim. They said, oh, you're that holy? So he had to prove to them that he was at that level and was actual honest and
What color
word.
shoes did the
And
Tanaim
then they
wear?
let him go. They
Not
were
black.
really,
No, black was a fashion. Black was fashion. Specifically. Yeah, Ruben, finish.
no, that's it. Black shoes were worn as a sign
So it depends on the timing.
of illusion.
I know, but that's what the Romans.
Right.
I know, but the Romans
Now
also.
the Rabbanim
Romans, when you're
put
Roman.
shoes black.
Because black shoes, everybody wears black shoes. If you wear green shoes, it's a problem. Like it's a. That's why it doesn't matter what you wear. What your intentions are when you do a mitzvah. What are your intentions? That's more important than what you wear. You know, the Baba Sali used to have once a week or once a month. I don't remember. He used to have a class with all Baalei Batim, secret, in Morocco. Okay, one guy owned a makolet, another guy was a doctor. But he knew that they were the tzaddikim of the door. But regular guys, plaid shirts, whatever it was, they wore what they wore. And he had a very, very quiet, very close, and he would teach them. Because their intentions were pure. When your intentions are pure, then that makes who you are.
It only works in the Sephardi world. In Ashkenazi
That is not
world,
true.
there's no such
In
thing.
Shamayim, they're not going to ask
I'm
you.
not saying that.
I'm
saying
telling you
that
what matters. What matters is in Shamayim, they're going to ask you. I'm sorry.
Well,
No.
I'm always looked down at and just.
So then hang out with the Sephardim. Come to me. So come to my shul. We'll take care of you.
Different cultural.
It's not that. I'm sorry. That's the problem. You know why? Because then that is not L'Shem Shamayim.
Where you pray?
In Orot HaZayit.
Ah.
Orot HaZayit. It's not. You understand that it's not L'Shem Shamayim. Right?
You kiss the hand of a rabbi?
Every
Ashkenazim
time.
don't.
I
Why?
davka make sure.
Because in the Christian world, that's what Christians did, so we stopped. It's just a cultural.
No, so that's something else. Then that is the Shem Shemayim. I want to kiss the rabbi's hand. No. I didn't know that's crazy. Oh, let's finish. I said 5 minutes. So in the Mekubalim right in Echa, right, Megillat Echa, it says Hayu Ratseha Lerosh, Sareh Lerosh. Sorry, the Hachamim write in Gittin that anybody that's going to be the ones to take over Israel, Bnei Israel, will always be the world power. Will always, because will always be the world power. You should never have some random group in Africa take over Israel, because it looks like it doesn't look right. So if anyone's going to take over, it has to be right. Nebuchadnezzar, by the way, right? Mordechai, we said it together. No, did I tell you this? Nebuchadnezzar was what? Nebuchadnezzar was a sofer in the king's palace. Hitler, Haman was a barber. Barber. But the whole point, he takes the low. He makes Haman was a barber. Hitler was a painter. Hitler, Yemashim over Zichro, painted house. You could hire him for 1,000 shekels. Okay, that's what his job was. Hashem, that's what it is. Kol Sareha Lerosh. That whoever is going to make Bnei Sabed, he always gets pulled up to the top. And the Mekubalim right, that just Bnei Israel are ra'ui for kedusha, because that's what our shoresh is. Right, we are kadosh. That when are we shortish with kedusha? When we do the will of God. But when we don't and we make sins, the kedusha leaves us. And now what happens when the kedusha leaves us? Something comes in. Tuma comes in.
Before Tuma.
Now how do you know? I'm going to give you 2 examples. One, the halakha l'maaseh, a body of a goy, a dead body of a goy is not tameh. Why? Because the hitzonim are hanging around the goy all their whole life. So it's nothing new. How many times did you go see the Statue of Liberty when you lived in New York? I think 0. Maybe once when I was a kid, they forced me. You don't go. Huh?
What's the connection?
Because when a Jew dies, he's kadosh. And the neshama of the kedusha leaves. Therefore, it's a new spot for the hitzonim to dwell in.
What's the connection to the Statue of Liberty?
Because you don't go to something that you're used to. So the goyim are naturally tameh, so the hitzonim don't care for it. It's not exciting. You didn't get that? I thought you got that. You missed the punchline? The hitzonim in the world don't hang out in a goy's body because they dime a dozen. They don't care. It's nothing special about it. So I said, like when you're in New York, how many times did I go to the Statue of Liberty? Once in my entire life. Yeah, no, it's fact. It's fact. It's fact. So that's why I said a goy dead body is not tameh. Does not make a bel tumah. Halakha, it's not make a bel tumah, but a Jewish is. Yeah, halakha maseh. Because the hitzonim is something new, so they grab on.
And a Jew has?
A Jew has. We're kadosh. The hayeh olam nata b'tochenu. The hayeh olam nata. All right, boys, come on, 2 more minutes. So now, when you go, right, you have kedusha. So when you kadosh, the beauty. When you're not kadosh, you're going to come tameh. Now, listen to this. Ufish le'olam hem mekayemim be'eze mitzvah. ומשום הכי איזה ניצוץ של קדושה נשאר בהם. So now when you do a mitzvah, you send up the kedusha, but there is a nitzotz that stays with you. Okay? Now, the problem is that when you do bad things, what do you do to this nitzotz that you collected in your life? You metameh it. You metameh this nitzotz. And when you metameh this nitzotz, what is this nitzotz? This nitzotz is made at you. Imagine, so I took Reuven and said, Reuven, come, I'm going to take you on a trip. I take him to Siberia and I leave him there. I give him a ticket, but I leave him there. Now the guy's got 2 weeks, and the ticket's in 2 weweeks. And then he comes back. I'm like, hey, how you doing? The guy wants to kill me. What'd you do to me? How'd you leave me there? What's the matter with you? So then he sorts that you took that I collected from wherever they were, and now instead of sending them to where they're supposed to go, what I end up doing, I end up putting with the hitzonim that I allowed to go inside of me. Nitzotz is the spark of holiness. Sparks of holiness. Now what I do, I let the hitzonim, or the bad stuff, go in me. So now by doing averot. So now, no, not distinguished. Now the nitzotz, you're not destroying it. You're making a bad environment that they don't want to be there, and you force them to be there. They're like this little white boy in the middle of Harlem. They don't want to. What am I? I don't belong here. So what happens, right? So look. And by the way, the Malachei Ha'umot, right, the kings of the world, have a nitzotz of kedusha. All the leaders.
It says because Hashem's heart is.
We make a beracha.
Hashem it runs their heart.
Shenatan mi kevodo lebasar v'dam. We're done in 1 minute. Okay. Shenatan mi kevodo basar v'dam. That with the beracha that we give is that because that you gave from your own kavod. Right? Esav. Why did Yitzhak love Esav so much? Because his nitzot was in his head, was in his mouth. Right? It was up the top part. What was the problem? He didn't allow it to go down. He didn't want his body to be kadosh. He wanted it to stay here. He didn't want to practice it. But Yitzhak loved Esav so much. Why? Because he knew the potential that he had. He had higher potential than Yaakov. But why did it? But why? Why did it go south? Because he didn't care enough to let it go and let it change him. So, but Yitzhak knew that, so he loved him. Why? Ulai yachzerenu lemutav. So now, when Bnei Yisrael sin, the nitzotz that's left with him, he's a yachid now. He's the white boy in Harlem. So what does he want to do? He wants to go to somebody that he knows. He wants to go to another nitzotz. Who's the other nitzotz that's around him? From the king. Nebuchadnezzar. You understand? Sheyesh lo lamelech el ha'uma u'magbir koach ha'uma. And what does he do? He makes the power stronger.
Wow,
it's crazy.
Because that's the reason it's only the kings that can destroy the temple.
That's what I say. Lev melachim v'sarim b'yad Hashem.
Yeah, but also only them can destroy the temple.
He's saying that the spark of hope, the nitzotz,
because of averot,
because he's angry at you for metameh and maftarizing you.
So he wants to go to the
next nitzotz. I need nitzotz around me.
1 minute. The story in Gittin where he says, when the famous story we read on Tisha B'Av, where Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, he crowns a different general, a king.
Yeah, right.
Destroy the base of English has to be a king.
Right.
So it has to be emperor.
The general, yeah.
So
why does he not want to go there, the nitzotz?
Because you collected him.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you do bad things. Since you do bad things, right, and you allowed yourself to become tameh, you now stopped the nitzotz from going where it needs to go. And you stop, and you're not putting kedusha inside of you. So instead of when kedusha is not there, you get tum'ah.
Right, but why does he want to go to the Goyish king?
Because we said, what?
Jump to another Jew that has nitzotzot.
He's angry at you. He's not looking to help you. You caused him to hang out with this. You want legit.
Heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy.
This could be with food and drink as well. If you don't elevate it, it's not.
Yeah, but it's different but when you metameh yourself, it's different than doing sins. If you're doing sins, you do sins, that's one thing. If you metameh yourself, that's a whole other ball game. Now, you understand?
How you can metameh?
My wife wanted to have a TV in the house, okay? You know what I told her? I don't know if we should record this. I thought I want to bring in a harlot who's all dressed. She ain't gonna do nothing. She's gonna live in a basement. She won't do nothing. I promise you, she won't do.
But then how
Is that okay?
She's gonna be in that room.
Is that okay?
No.
I said no. So I said, don't put a TV in my house. I said, don't put a TV in my house. You understand?
Zona.
First name
Do me a
of the
favor.
house.
Do me a favor. Let us not live in the house, all dressed, and she won't do nothing. Do me a favor. No. She's getting all nervous.
The thing
I go,
with
so don't put a TV in my house.
The Eitzog on Clever, he gave us these phones. They're the same.
The old days, you weren't allowed to go on the computer if not everybody was home, and the computer was in the living room, in the family room, that everybody could see. Now you get to take it in the bathroom for 2 hours and nobody knows
It's gonna be
nothing.
in your glasses, it's gonna be in your brain. What
So
we gonna do
this is what the Midrash is saying. We're gonna end here. The Midrash is saying, Im atem muvdalim, right? If you separate yourselves, you're gonna be like me. Why? Because you're gonna be like me. That is short. That you
Smash all them right here. if you want.
I don't have one. Don't worry. There's misharesh b'kedusha. If not, you're gonna be like Nebuchadnezzar. Boys, 30 seconds. Because at the end of the day, if you choose to be with me, then great. If you're not, then the nitzots that you collected, that you're now filled with tumah, is gonna end up being the end of you. Because he's mad at you and he's going to go attach himself to someone that can take revenge on you.
He says this?
Yes.
Oh, this is Chidush?
Yes. Well, he brings it also. Well,
based on Kabbalah, no?
of course it is. Yeah. Of course it is. Yeah, it's a chidush.
Did you ever hear such a thing?
Right, and that's the oyev. But, yes. Yeah. And the oyev, by the way, the oyev is called an aryeh. Who's the aryeh? Nebuchadnezzar. In Yirmiyah is called the Harid Bet Hamikdash Hanikra Aryeh, Kemo Shamru Hazal. Right?
But if you stay separate, then they
Right,
stay with
and he
us.
ends by saying that's what the writes in Berachot. Sadiq mimeno bolea. If you have a rasha who's on on a roll, right? If he's on a roll, you stay away from it because he could swallow up a sadiq. But a sadiq gamur, he cannot swallow. He eno bolea. He can't touch him. Baruch Adonai Olam Amen Amen.
That's why we go to Uman.
רבי חניה בן קשיא אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך יתברך תורה כמו שנאמר. Yes, we do.
Hold the sitter. Hold the sitter.
תורה חפש מה שזה תורה ואדיר. Okay, we can finish the Mishnah.
Ad kan.
עד כאן, חזק וברוך. All right, boys, you know the drill.
By the way, Bashar al-Assad is also, Assad means king, it means lion. Oh yeah.
I want everyone to have a piece of this.